Happy full moon in Gemini. So we reach another full moon of this year. The universe really wants us to release because we have another full moon, and it's a super full moon because it's closer to Earth. So the moon represents our emotions, the energy emotion, our emotional realm. When it's a super full moon, it's also closer to our heart. It helps us to open our heart and release all that is caging our heart to come back to the purest form of our heart, which is love. This is the purest energy that our heart is. And this full moon is helping us to open our heart, to release, so we can come back home to ourselves, to our truth. So let's dive right in. So this full moon happens on December 5th in the Central European time. However, it's very early in the morning, it's midnight, so it will be on December 4th in the UK and all the rest of the world, meaning the Americas, because obviously in Australia and New Zealand will happen on the 4th. So between the 4th and the 5th of November, and it will be at 13 degrees Gemini. So make sure to look at your birth chart and see where 13 degrees Gemini falls in your birth chart to have a clear knowledge of what you need to release, because it's a full moon, it's a releasing one, and I will tell you later in the horoscope. So what's happening under this full moon? It's actually not very aspected, meaning that's not so much happening like in the sky in that day. We have a full moon when the sun and the moon are in opposite signs, opposite in the sky. The sun is in Sagittarius right now, the moon is in Gemini, the sister and opposite sign of Sagittarius. We only have one aspect that is worth mentioning, and it's the square, aka the point of tension with the nodes. The nodes are the point in time, in space, that determine the eclipse. So the lunar nodes are actually what the eclipse are determined by. And right now, the north node is in Pisces. And since the moon is in Gemini and they are at the same or a closer degree, they're making a square, a tension. So I wanted to mention that because maybe there are some things that you need to release that have come up also during the eclipse season in September. So, or maybe even before the first eclipse season back in March. So what is that needs to be released? That's the big question under this lunation. And it's about emotion. It's a full moon, but also we still have that grand trine in earth, in water that I've been talking about in the previous videos, meaning that water, it's all about the emotion, helping us to really ride the waves of our emotions so we can come back to shore, to ourselves in a safe and calm way. So release, release, release. This is the key word for this lunation. And make sure if you work with the moon or if you just want to go back, not only during eclipses time, but also back in May, May 27th, when we had the new moon in Gemini. Maybe you set intention back there. Maybe there were some themes coming up that are still coming up right now. So look back and think about what are some things that are coming up that are similar, some like how can you connect the dots and how can you release. What else? This is like all about this full moon actually, but it's about like connecting to your heart and end a cycle. We are in this like time of endings with both Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, with Uranus in Taurus completing its journey. Next year we will have different energies. So this month of December, as I put in my dreamer's letter, if you're not there, make sure to check it out in the link in the show notes. When I did the energetic of December, actually, that is that is like the month of ending, of releasing. So this full moon is inviting you to do just that. So first of all, go in your birth chart, locate where 13 degrees is in your birth chart, so I can give you the horoscopes right now, what your soul is asking you to let go. So if it's in the first house, which identity are you ready to let go, to release, so you can embody the version of yourself that you are becoming? Second house, how can you release unworthiness, feeling that you are not enough, and embody deep self-worth? Third house, how can you release the mental noise, the mental chatter, so you can come back and embody clarity and inner calm? Fourth house, how can you release family patterns and generational patterns and traumas that are not yours to carry and embody your path forward? Fifth house, how can you release old childhood behavior and come back and embody your inner child fun and creativity? Sixth house, how can you release toxic and unhealthy habits and come back to health, radiant health, and supportive rituals? Seventh house, how can you release relationships that have reached their expiration date and embody the energy that you want to attract in another person in your life? Eighth house, how can you release the shadows and come back to the inner light within you? Ninth house, how can you release outdated beliefs and come back and embody that expanded and abundant self? 10th house, how can you release job roles, projects that are no longer serving you and embody your dharma, your soul's purpose? 11th house, how can you release spaces, community that no longer align and embody the most authentic version of yourself? And last but not least, 12th house, how can you release all karma, chapters, books that are closing, and embody your intuition, your most authentic and spiritual self? This is your horoscope. Let me know in the comments where does 13 degrees Gemini fall for you, so I can give you more insights. And for a little ritual, I really want you to do a release writing ritual. If you were in tune with the moon back in May, you can ask yourself question like, what intention did you set back in that new moon? If you were not, that works either way. So I want you to take a piece of paper and maybe journal about these questions that I'm going to tell you about. Otherwise, you can just take a piece of paper and journal for 10 minutes. Release everything that is in your mind. So what themes were unfolding back in May? What feels complete and what are you releasing? Journal for 10 minutes. When you've done that and you feel free in your mind, come back to your body, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and take 5 to 10 deep belly breaths so you can come back in this present moment to this body in this moment in time. So this is all for the full moon in Gemini. I'll be back with the new moon in Sagittarius on the 20th of December. For now, happy, heartfelt, full moon healing, full moon in Gemini. Peace and love. Ciao.